think that's high enough. Okay, we're good. Good evening, everyone. I'm Sabrina Faith, and welcome to GH Talk. I, I guess I got thrown off. I meant to be here on Sunday, but I was like, look, I'll just come back on a Tuesday again and make sure I stay on top. I'm trying to do my best to be consistent with watching the show and reviews and talking about it because, it feels good that way. It feels great. But thank you to everyone who's watching live or who's going to be watching later on. Hey Monique, how you doing? I think I seen Vitra in the comments. If you're still here, hey. But we're going to get into it. I didn't get an opportunity. Hi. I hope everyone is doing well this evening and that you've had a good weekend. That you're staying safe out there. It's crazy out there. But we have a lot to discuss. I didn't get to take notes like I usually do because just had my hands full with the kids. I had both of them this weekend and they're both sleeping. So I just pray that Lucas is the one. I pray that Lucas stays asleep until the end of this live stream. He likes to wake up when mommy's having fun. That's what I think, because he likes to have fun too. But what shall we discuss first? Because there was a lot going on this past week. Interestingly enough, they kind of timed it perfectly somewhat with having a snowstorm or a blizzard, whatever you want to call it. But they were all trapped by the snow. Their snowstorm was so severe that there were cell phone outages going on. I haven't yet experienced that yet. My cell service has not been lost because I was a little, okay, Charlotte was trying to get to Valentine's and okay, not to Valentine's. I'm sorry. Alexis allowing herself to get blackmailed again. But Charlotte kept talking about how she wanted to talk to Valentine. And I'm like, does your phone not work? But then again, I guess like there was an outage for a second and then she was getting all these texts from Lulu. But eventually you were able to text Lulu. Like, why didn't you have Danny call Carly's phone and say, hey, can I talk to Valentine? Like, or is there like a major concern that the WSB is tapping Carly's phone or something like that? Because I'm like, you're just trying to charge over there. Why not call? Like, is that out of the realm of possibilities? And be like, just have the conversation on the phone. Okay, whatever. Modern technology, what do I know? Alexis Davis. She is a very good attorney. She really is. I am disappointed, though, that throughout Willow's trial and the pressure from, she was receiving from Drew, that she wasn't working on a plan B, C, D, E, F, G. Because why, even at that point, would you trust Drew to follow through on what he said? Even when they, heard the verdict and everyone was standing around, they forget about tech. Yeah. They do. Even when they were standing around after receiving the verdict, Alexis, shot at Drew and said, oh, you better keep up your end because I kept up my end. Why wouldn't you make sure that he had no choice but to do that? As a lawyer, you said Alexis needs to become Natasha, embrace the Cassadine G, and she ignores. She's gone up against the Cassadines. Willow and Drew should just be a drop in the bucket compared to Helena and the rest of them, But as a lawyer, why didn't she draw up a contract between her and Drew stating, about her being able to be in Scout's life in order to just make sure that agreement was upheld? I'm just surprised at how stupid sometimes these characters who are so smart can be. She really should have, had some type of plan in place. Hi, Sabrina. I'm just surprised. Like, you should have had multiple plans in place. What she didn't count on was Willow, of course. Not only Willow being truly guilty, but Willow taking a page out of Drew's playbook and using Scout against her. She has learned a lot from Drew over her time with him, and none of it good. And now she's starting to use what she's learned from him. And she's Nell at this point. She's really becoming her twin sister with that behavior. My goodness. Willow is basically channeling Drew. Yeah. And I've seen a lot of folks, a lot of fans with concerns, why don't Alexis record a conversation with Willow and Drew? I think we've all said that many times, even with Portia, especially when Drew was threatening her. We were all like, why isn't anyone recording these things? I still don't understand it either. That's something so simple. In regards to Alexis, at least this time with Willow kind of surprised her, so she didn't stop to think maybe I should record this. But I don't know why they don't do simple things like that. I guess it would ruin the plot of their story. But I really want to see Alexis strategize a way to make sure that she's not on the hook because they're always mentioning Scout and always using Scout as leverage. Also, there's fans have been pointing out, and I noticed it too, that Alexis, for the second time this week, has stated that the only thing she has left of Sam is Scout. And we're all like, so what is Danny? How many times are you going to continue to say that? And then I guess I was rationalizing it by saying that, okay, Scout is a girl, Sam was a girl. Maybe that's what she means, that she's like another Davis girl. But again, Alexis, Scout isn't Sam. Which brings me to this point. I really think that the Davis women need to sit down and have a real world conversation with Scout. She is not a baby. She's a growing girl. And you all need to educate her about, to an extent. No, she don't. Because she's Jason's child. And Jason is the least problematic baby dad that she has to deal with. But y'all need to have a real world conversation with Scout and let her know what's going on. Because, I guess you don't have to tell her everything. Maybe she won't grasp some things, but especially you all need to let her know that Willow is not to be trusted and you're not to confide in Willow again. You need to tell her what Willow did with that information about her sharing that Danny, she didn't use it yet, but y'all need to have a conversation with her. I really feel for Alexis because Scout doesn't have her mother, and at least Alexis knows that Jason will always make sure that Danny will be a part of her life. Absolutely. But Danny is not the only tie or the only thing left of Sam. Scout, the actress, almost a teenager, even though she doesn't look like it. Right. And I still feel like there have been, child characters on this show, like Michael, for instance. He was not he didn't know all of the ins and outs of his parents, but he was not a pushover as a child. When he was that spunky redhead, oh no. And then there are other, children, Jocelyn, even for example, Spencer, even at younger ages, they were sharp. So even though you see her as an extension of Sam, Scout is not Sam. Scout has had a very sheltered life. She has not had the life that Sam has had. She has not been raised up by a con man. She has not been in fight or to survive mode. She really needs to be taught. And I really hope that the writers will consider putting that in, because I think that's very important for Scout's development. Because say that something happens and Scout is taken away from the Davis women again, at least she will be prepared with the knowledge that she needs, not thinking that her family abandoned her and making her situation worse. So they really need to have she should be a rebel. Yeah, they really need, I think so. But they still need to have a conversation with that girl and not let her be ignorant to what's happening to her and how she's being used. She's being used. Hi, I'm glad you caught it too. So far we just talked about Alexis and how she's being blackmailed again. And also just my disappointment that Alexis didn't come up with contingency plans to prevent this from happening. At least as far as Drew is concerned, because there was no guarantee that Drew was going to hold up his end of the bargain and allow her to see Scout, even if she won the case. I think we all had discussed for weeks, and I think at least a couple of months, that Drew would continue to use Scout as leverage over Alexis in the future. So now, the surprise attack that she didn't see coming, Willow is using that tactic. So, my goodness. So I am caught up all the way until today's episode. So far with Willow, okay, I am concerned for Michael. And I'm also looking at Sunny. what I don't get is, first of all, Sonny is way too involved with Michael's business right now. It's one thing to give advice, but to push Rick on Michael as his attorney to help with this child custody, I'm not understanding. If maybe it's just to give Rick something to do, because I was wondering, where is Rick? You know, Alexis needs Christina just ended to team up as the mom taught her mob girlfriend by extension to get Willow exposed. Maybe. Maybe she is trapped. She is acting like her sister now, for sure. It's something about these Reeves women, hey Deborah, that love to try to pulverize Michael Corinthos. It's just in their DNA or something. I don't know. But I don't understand. And then why wouldn't you use Diane? At first, some people were saying, "Oh, Diane is still recovering from her injuries," but she was just on today's episode talking about compromise when he didn't compromise with Avery about Avery. Sonny also didn't compromise with Carly when it came to Michael and Morgan at a point. It took a while before that eased up, and a lot of fighting between Carly and Sonny. Kiki was the only sane daughter. He really was. Because, oh yeah, the twins are Silas Clay's daughter. I guess the difference with Kiki is her mother. Her mother was Ava. Ava is a mess, but she hasn't taken it to the loony level like the Reeves women. But why wouldn't Diane represent Michael with the custody case? And then also another layer to that, I don't know by real world standards, but because Diane and Alexis are underneath the same umbrella as far as working for the same law firm, I thought it was a conflict of interest for you to take on clients, you know, in the same case when one of your own is representing the other. At least that's how I thought it went. But of course, this is a soap opera. Like I said, this is just for plot points, but I don't see why. Willow is just crazy. She's trying everything to find ways to frame Michael there, making Alexis a dummy that she can find out so she can get out from under Drew and Willow. Sonny also doesn't know all the info as to why Michael doesn't want Willow near the kids. Well, I also, if I was Michael, I would play it close to the vest with Sonny too, because Sonny has way too much softness towards Willow, even after everything that's happened. He's fooled by her, and you're supposed to be a lethal, ruthless killer. You're supposed to spot these things. Nathan being Willow's uncle and Molly being Alexis' daughter is also a conflict of interest. It sure is, but I guess it didn't stop them from having them stand in and question Michael with Diane. But again, Rick lost. Willow doesn't know Michael knows about the weird baby gaslighting. Yeah. Too bad there's no evidence to prove that. But Rick lost for Willow. He lost. I mean, and there was nothing he could do. So why would you have Rick be the one to stand up and help Michael? When I look at Rick, I mean, he looks great. I love me some Rick. But I don't feel like he's a formidable foe when you compare him to Diane. I'm still not understanding that. Maybe I missed where they explained why he chose Rick instead of Diane, or why Sonny is even making this choice to begin with. Because when Michael first returned to town, he was handling business without telling his parents or his family anything. He showed up, got his kids, already hit up Diane, got the court order approved, got his children back, waited at his mother's house to be reunited with the rest of his family. He was handling business. So Sonny continued to allow Michael to handle his business. He doesn't need you to do that. I'm guessing the limited mobility of the actress is playing a factor. Probably. So, but we'll see what happens as this week it looks like Willow is going to be pushed over the edge, because we saw in the promo, for those of you who saw the promotion for this week's episodes, that Willow is holding the key. So apparently Tracy yet again inadvertently worked against Michael by giving Martin the key that she copied from Scout's key. So now the theory amongst many fans is that Willow is going to take that key and somehow plant it on Michael and probably throw Chase on the scent or Nathan somehow getting on the scent to where they search Michael and find out that he has that key and say, oh, so this is how you got into Drew's house. So you had to have shot him because you got this key. This is physical evidence. I mean, this is a stretch. We'll see what actually happens. But she's obviously thinking of doing something with that key. And the first thing she said to Nina during, one of the first things was, how can we use this against Michael in the custody fight? And this is the part where I don't have empathy. Like, I don't have, like, I can't root for her. And she will try to frame Michael, but it backfires. It backfires on her. I'm gonna have to read that. Thank you for the info. According to the actress, she is going to frame Michael, but she will be leaving breadcrumbs. But in the end, the truth comes out and leads to her worst nightmare. The preview said her. Oh my God! I gotta read this. Shout out to y'all for giving me the 411. Oh my goodness. Rick was doing the lawyer work because Diane was still healing. I don't understand the issue now. They got Diane in a wheelchair. Yeah, that's what I was saying. But okay. But girl, it's just so the writers were saying that they were hoping the fans would understand that Willow felt backed into a corner somehow. But I've been reading the comments from other fans as well, and we're really not buying it. I'm just wondering, like, how far is this going to go? Because most characters who, become problematic or crazy, they either get institutionalized or they get written off. I don't necessarily want Willow's character to be written off. But if we don't get an ending in sight, a lot of folks are going to start feeling the way about her that we felt with Drew. I'm really interested to see her scenes with Drew this week, especially since he has locked-in syndrome. Oh my goodness. I am here for it. I think a lot of us, we're on Willow's side with what she did to Drew. End up trying to shoot Michael after she fails. Oh my goodness. Or drugging him. We still haven't learned what she shot Drew up with. Heather ended up going with her son, Stephen Lars. Heather is with Stephen Lars. Drew can only blink. I think we're all on Willow's side with what she did to Drew because a lot of us were just exhausted with his behavior. Just exhausted. A lot of us was like, come on, somebody do something. So, but when it comes to Michael, it's like, okay, how much longer are you going to sit here and just crap all over your ex-husband? Just a girl, Chase. What? Let's talk about that, okay? So we'll have to see what happens with Willow on that one, but it seems like she is not going to get her way anytime soon. She needs to work for it. I'm glad you made it. Harrison Chase. You are such a wedgie. You are such a wedgie. Do y'all understand what I mean when I say that? Willow's problem is that she is not playing the long game. Exactly. Michael, she only took Drew's tactics, so she's going full force too quick, and she's not trained enough to be successful. You said Paw Patrol. You are right. Willow just really wants to take the shortcut to get what she wants. All right, girl. But Chase, first of all, he's sitting there checking Tracy. Okay, what I don't get is that didn't Tracy have a court order stating that she could get her things back? And Drew was the one who was like, no, I'm going to tie her up in litigation so, it'll last for years to come. So I'm not going to abide by that order. But Tracy had an order stating that Drew had to get the property back. So I don't see what she did as stealing. And I do not understand why the writing is trying to lead to that or this discussion in there. The same plot that the writers use on Liz with a twist. Willow will end up in Shady Brook. Well, we'll see. We've been talking about Shady Brook and Ferncliff for quite a while, and she has not ended up there yet. We will see. Did Nell ever end up in one of those places, or was she just put in Pentonville? I think Nell just went straight to Pentonville. I don't think they tried to rehabilitate her. But Chase, for one thing, that's your family. You married a Quartermain, okay? Why are you being such a daggone A wedgie. Why are you being such a wedgie? Oh, goodness. Why don't, like, I'm surprised your nose doesn't bleed every day with your little high altitude attitude. Oh, it could have been bad for you, Tracy, to do something like that. Excuse me. Shout out to Gio for owning up to the fact that he is a Quartermain. Loved it. Brooklyn, I'm gonna need you to rein your husband in. Sometimes you just need to check his ass, and it's okay. He should still love you at the end of the day. Okay? Your attitude about some of the things that Chase does and says is, girl, you just be chilling back there. I'm gonna need you to pipe up, okay? You didn't learn anything from your granny? Jesus. She didn't steal anything of her family. Yes, yes, okay. So what do we have to say about, before we move on? Yeah, and who are you to be trying to check Jason about his son Danny? I am so sick of people trying to make it seem like, okay, we do have some grievances when it comes to Jason and Danny's relationship. I know some folks feel like Jason is really prioritizing Britt and we're not getting enough of Jason and Danny. But Jason is not a bad parent, okay? He really isn't. He's there for Danny, and Danny knows that. And teenagers are going to be teenagers. They were on Quartermain property, so I don't know why they were tripping, talking about, they were at the gatehouse. They were on Quartermain property. Y'all own that. They were home. Y'all don't consider that being home? My goodness. Girl, why you... Anyway. I mean, really, what was they going, like, with the lack of security that's in the Quartermain mansion, there's more trouble to be found there than it is in the gatehouse. Danny was on the property of his home. Yeah, what was the problem? And how he was talking reckless to Jason. Did he forget who saved? That's very true. Yeah, there's no comparison to what Jason would do. That's very true. I wish Jason did get slick mouth like that sometimes. That's not who he is. But sometimes I wish he would just get possessed for a moment and be like, oh, you talking mess? Do I need to get Michael back in here on your ass? Ooh, you just can't leave Danny alone with his cousin. Oh, okay. So let's talk about it, because we did speak on this in a few live streams back where I was a bit confused about the family tree here, because I know that they've kind of fudged up Valentine's family line a little bit, but we did come, but somebody put up a family tree. I don't have it right now, but I'll post it later. But Valentine is indeed a Cassadine. I guess the discussions online were that Danny and Charlotte aren't first cousins, but they're second cousins. However, the majority, I really haven't seen a lot of fans in favor of this. I don't think I've seen any fans in favor of this, which is why I'm very shocked that they went this way. But, I guess in the United States, he's his mom's cousin. That's just gross. In any case, second cousins, first removed. See, I get confused. But I guess some people say that second cousins can be together by law. I'm surprised, because like I said, I have not seen any fans currently on board with Danny and Charlotte. Some folks were even having major attitudes because they went back and they pulled the old clips of Jake and Charlotte from years ago, and they were like, well, why didn't you just bring Danny back? I mean, I'm sorry, not Danny, but Jake back to be with Charlotte. Why are you trying to put Danny and Charlotte together? They're separated by a generation, hence first removed. Okay, thank you so much. I need to be educated. I guess that's the way that we're going. And some people are, I did see some folks say they weren't raised as cousins. So so there's that. But the majority of people were uncomfortable by this. Where do you think this is going? Do you think that we're going to see a full-blown relationship between these two? I feel like it might fizzle out. I hope that it does. I mean, I knew some of my second cousin first removed, and hell no. Yeah, because like for me, if it was me personally, I'm like, you're still family. So I just really wouldn't want to, I wouldn't want to do that. You're still family. I'm just, okay. I'm just wait until the adults find out. I wonder what the adults will have to say about this. And then also, they hid this from Rocco, who showed up at the gatehouse. Hi, Sandy. No way, Danny and Charlotte. See, that I really haven't seen any fans that are in favor of this. Alexis and Valentine, both of their fathers were brothers, I think. Yeah, I haven't really seen anyone in favor of them being a long-term couple. But yeah, they're keeping this from Rocco. Rocco says we tell each other everything because Rocco just also found out that Danny knows that Charlotte made contact with Valentine and that he helped Charlotte to see him. Does Rocco know that Valentine is at Carly's house, or did he just know that Charlotte made contact? I'm sometimes the bit of information escapes me. I'm still disgusted by the whole Sasha and Cody story. Yes, that was another point that a lot of fans brought up on X. They were saying, oh, so Sasha and Cody couldn't be together, but Danny and Charlotte can? They're going to blame Danny since he's Jason's son. Danny and Aiden are Charlotte's cousins, she knew. Hey, Beverly. No, he doesn't know? Okay. I think that's for the best because they are right. Rocco is not the best liar. So now the three of them are saying that they're in this together, but of course they kept the fact that they kissed from him. We are not in the 1300s. The people are scarce, so fourth cousins can get together. I don't think they're fourth cousins, though. I think there's, somebody said second cousins first removed. If you scroll up, the comment is there. Sasha and Cody were first cousins, so it's a little different, but they're still blood related. Well, the jury is out. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. I don't know. Let's be real. They're not going to last. This is a soap opera. These couples never last. They get together, they break up, they find somebody else. They're just teenagers, so I don't see marriage in their future. If the writers did that, then we'll talk about that later. But I'm not going to invest as much energy getting upset about this. You said their family is nasty. It's nasty and they are minors. I'm not going to invest in this because I don't see this lasting. I just do not. Cousins as cousins should be off limits. Look, we're in agreement. I'm not dating no cousin in real life. I'm just not doing it. We'll see what the adults have to say about this when they find out. But this is if this continues between Danny and Charlotte. Like, are they going to be secret lovers or something? Like that happens in real. Oh, it sure does. More inbred than the British royal. What do you think is going on with Sasha's? What do you think? Wait, hold on. Sorry. Sasha's meds? I'm not sure what you mean. You said no. You mean Emma? Because Esme's not on the show at this time. But, okay. So they are not the only ones who kissed. I had wondered if Tracy and Martin were going to end up kissing. That's what I was wondering. But I'm glad that they didn't. I actually liked the scenes and the banter and the bickering between Tracy and Martin. How do we feel about Tracy and Martin? Like, do we eventually want to see them evolve into something romantic? Or do we just want them to have that frenemies vibe that eventually just becomes cool out of respect? I would prefer that. I'm not sure about her falling in love with Martin, but I feel like she could be a really awesome friend to him and great counsel. I heard Cullum gave her a shot today. Are we talking about? I have to watch that. You meant Brit? Okay. I enjoy the characters playing off each other as they do and leaving it at that. Also, Serenia. I like them as friends. Tracy is much older than Martin. Hey, Cher, I don't know if Cher is dating a much younger man, okay? It happens. But I think that they just make much better. Oh, Chad and Whitney. They ruined Chad and Whitney. Oh, Passions ruined them, and I followed them from the beginning. They were That storyline was so convoluted, but Passions was just Passions. Passions was a hot mess, honey, with a side of good Lord. Ugh. But they ruined Chad and Whitney. Oh my goodness. And I had to suffer through all that torture of Whitney and Chad being separated by her sister Simone. Ugh. Jesus. Mm. It was just as bad as watching Ethan and Teresa with Gwen. Oh goodness. Yo, Passions was. I remember we was all watching Passions during that summer. Especially that first summer with the whole boat and the prom and Charity being evil and Tabitha and Timmy. I mean, Passions was something else. You just had to be there. Wasn't it like 1998, 1999? Ooh, I never saw Passions, but yet I've been told I missed out. YouTube, I promise you, somebody got episodes of Passions on YouTube. You just got to check it out. The quality is but if you watch it on your phone, it ain't too bad. I just wouldn't blow it up on your TV. But somebody got Passions on YouTube around here. I've watched like full episodes. But they're like broken up into sections. If you got time, I check it out. I think Martin, Stella, and Tracy would make a good group of friends. Yeah, I just like the banter. I like the edge that they bring to each other. I don't want it, muted, muddled with like a romance. I don't think a romance is for them. I enjoyed their scenes. I'm 34, so I feel you on that, Kiki. But those were good scenes. I love Tracy still going rogue because at first she talked to Gio and Emma and she told them that the movers were going to go over there and help her get Drew's stuff out of the house. They didn't make it there. They actually canceled on her because of the intensity of the snow. So she enlisted Gio and Emma. I love the comment from Emma about a passport and everything like that. Yes, 50 years young. And so Gio and Emma, of course, they did not make it because they got snowed in. They are the cutest couple to me, of course. I think the couple that got on my nerves the most during this little snowstorm was Molly and Cody. And it wasn't even Molly, it was Cody. I have to remember, Cody is a sensitive soul. But I'm like, so this is what we do for drama and angst? Create problems where there isn't any? I mean, this man was so upset over his character in a book that he literally went and slept with the horses. You said, okay, Cody, in the hot pants, I mean long underwear. Like, what? You have a beautiful woman there, and you gonna be so mad in a blizzard that you slept with the horses? That would have been the end. You would have had to grovel to get back in my good graces. Molly better not go back apologizing to his ass. And she's sitting there on the steps pining for him. No, girl, I would have went upstairs and slept real good. Oh, so you want to sleep with the horses? Well, I'm getting in the bed, okay? Catch me in the morning when I find a way to get out of here with your ass. I can't believe that. Like, what? He was so hurt he slept with the horses. Bro, it is never that bad. I'm like, what? Of all the things for you to have a problem, I'm just trying to, he's sensitive. He's just real sensitive. I did peep his haircut though. At first I was like, who is this? His haircut made him look slightly different, but I wasn't here for him and his attitude. I'm just like, I feel like this is just the only means that they have to create drama between these two and make them kind of feisty and interesting. But you are right. Cody is sensitive. He's very sensitive, but to sleep with the horses, that was really, he meant it. He laid down. Molly didn't even make it in there. Girl, you should have went upstairs and got yourself a good night's sleep. I wouldn't have sat up on the stairs over that. Are you kidding me? He'll get over it, of course. He'll get over it, but I just was like, wow. Okay. Would have been the last time I spent the night with him. He would have been coming over to my house from now on. I ain't spending the night with you in the stables for you to sit there and think you're going to leave me in the bed by myself and go sleep with the horses. I can sleep in my own bed by myself. Why am I coming over here with you? Cody needs to take self-esteem knowing that he has his own secret on Rick. Thank you. Oh, Snaps for Brooklyn for bringing that up. Snaps. Thank you. Cody was acting like one man, one. I forgot about the Rick secret too. So we did also have. Now look, look. There's a couple I really want to talk about. They were looking real sparkly, and I'm really flirting with the idea of them actually being a thing. Shout out in the comments if you know what couple I'm talking about. I'm gonna get to them right after these two. Lulu and Nathan. I think we all saw it coming for a while that they were, because when Lulu came back at first, it seemed like they might be playing with the idea of her and Cody, but they definitely put Cody with Molly, silly teenagers. And so now it's Lulu and Nathan, and it's been apparent for a while that it seemed like there was like some chemistry going on between the two of them. So now they're stuck, but I'm not surprised, but I kind of feel like something about it isn't as natural. Like, I feel like it's being fast-tracked because of Maxie and her waking up soon. And then I guess the thing, you said they have chemistry, hated, but on screen, yes. But I guess maybe it's because of Nathan. Like, his return, when I think about it, reminds me of Jason. When Jason had his return after 5 years, Monique, you got it! Carly and Valentine. I'm gonna get that on a second. Okay, but back to Lulu and Nathan. Okay, Keyline Nathan said, I wish you could see me as I want you to, or something to that effect. Told me he isn't actually real Nathan. Maybe I'm overthinking it. You're not the only one who said it. That off of that line, they really. Oh, and also him saying that his father had him memorize. What the hell did he have his father? What was that? He said his father had memorized the periodic table. There we go. And folks was like, what? I don't think that's true. So, and I agree with you about him using that kiss as a distraction. The table of elements, that he used that as a distraction, the kiss. It's just that when Jason came back after all those years, he even said that he didn't realize it was 5 years. He said it felt more like 5 minutes. And Sam, he was still in love with Sam. There was no moving on for Jason. Okay? Not until Sam put him out and he had to move on. But he didn't move on from Sam. And he didn't move on from Danny. But when we got Nathan, who doesn't remember the last 7 years, except that the last thing he knows was that he was married to Maxie, they were having a son. So it's like, you should still be so consumed with love for your wife. So I'm just having a little trouble digesting this. I get that he's been spending a lot of time with Lulu lately, but I'm still having a hard time digesting this. But we'll see what happens, and if Lulu is right, and Maxie will be super devastated to know that her best friend killed pretty much her legal husband, who's back from the dead. I'm really waiting for Maxie to get back. February the 12th is when they said we shall see her back on screen. Nathan is like, hey, but this is weird. Nathan isn't trying to figure out the last 7 years either, which is a major red flag and problem. And I think other characters need to be pointing this out. I think Dante said today that Nathan was probably looking in and investigating this, but it's like, you should be. Like, somebody should be handling an independent investigation on this. I've always said that Chase, that's what Chase should have been assigned to do, to investigate Nathan and figure out where he's been. No one is really looking into this at all. And it's weird. I think he did visit Maxie. They brought it up with James, but I'll have to go back to be sure. So you could be right. There's a scene during Christmas where they were talking about visiting Maxie, but I'll have to double check. Jason woke up smiling for the first time in 2 years. They were turning blue. What's up with Nathan not visiting Maxine? I'll have to look back, because I think he visited her off screen, because there's a conversation he had with James that led to that, but again, we don't really know. We don't like, again, I'll have to look back because you're right. The way it looks is that he has not visited Maxie at all. Has proven he's not a you are right. I was like, bro, Dante, he is. Yeah, like Dante, come on now. Yeah, Chase need to do beside hustle over Willow. Yeah, yeah, he really do. But I was hoping did visit Maxie off screen. That's what I'm thinking. But of course, Lulu and Nathan kissing did not keep Lulu from screeching. Okay, the only person who was asking questions was Anna. Yeah, didn't he visit? Yeah, that's what I was. That's what I was saying too. That the visit happened off screen with James. But Lulu was screeching. Oh my goodness, I don't need Lulu screeching. Okay, stop it. But I will say they do have chemistry. We'll see where this is going, and I still hope he is Nathan, but like maybe he just got like memories, imprinted on him. Like I don't want him to be Peter. I don't want him to be Peter. Definitely don't want him to be Faison. Carly and Valentine. Oh, they're so sparkly. However, there are still many fans who want their Anna and Valentine back. I've seen that, but I will say, I enjoyed their scenes this week. I really did. I found it suspicious that Emma talked to Nathan. He said he was going to make a call and then popped, "Hey, Anna is in France next day." But I don't think. Wait, so was it the next day? It's a no from me with Nathan and Lulu. Gotcha. But Anna and I'm sorry, but Carly and Valentine. I like that. I like that we're getting them sharing scenes. They're really great actors together. When Carly went to tell Valentine that Charlotte went missing, and he's like, "Oh, I gotta go find her. I gotta go find her," and Carly was trying to keep him calm. You said it would be crazy. Oh my gosh, it would have been crazy had she ended up sleeping with him just for Jack to walk in on it. Oh my gosh, Carly girl, you got yourself into something, honey. Cause if it was like if she gets caught between Jack and Valentine, now that's good TV. But we'll see. She even invited him to stay in the guest room. Girl, how far is the guest room from your room? Look, I'm just playing with y'all. You said only if he was staying. I got you. Yeah, I heard that he's not staying. It's just a short-term stint, and then he's out of here. So I agree with you. Love them. I think they will sleep together. We'll see, because Carly ended up with Jack next by the fire. She was quick on her feet. When she mentioned why she had two drinks, she was expecting Jason, but he couldn't make it through the storm. Imagine if they had a baby. Oh no, does Carly need another baby at this age? I mean, I ain't hating. I ain't hating. But I think I'm done with babies with Carly for right now. I'm done. But I love him too. Uh, but it was nice scenes. I liked how she brought out Scrabble to try to distract him, and then he said that he was suspicious that she would cheat. Nina would have something to say about it. Carly even mentioned that Valentine has bad taste in women because he chose Nina, and that she saw him as just another evil Cassadine until she saw his dedication to his daughter and going out there and finding him. Carly was cute going after him to try to find him and let him know that Charlotte was okay. That's why, again, I brought up the fact that she should have just used Danny's phone to call Carly to talk to Valentine. Donna was already the miracle at this age, baby, for Carly. No more. I agree. You like friends between them? There's nothing wrong with that. I think friendships are certainly valuable, and I'd rather keep the friendships because once they get romantic, sometimes they fall out and they're just never the same. Except for Valentine and Nina. I am looking forward to seeing Valentine's reaction to Nina trying to use Charlotte to betray him. I because you know how much Valentine still loves Nina and has respect for Nina and trusts Nina. So I really am looking forward to seeing his reaction to this news about her betrayal. Really am. So another uh, pairing that got stuck together during the snow. Mother and daughter duo, Trina and Portia. Now, last week during the live stream, I know that I said that, if Trina is going to cut Willow slack, then she needs to give that same grace to Portia. I want to retract that statement. Portia Robinson, you manipulative gaslighting heifer. I am Team Trina. And the thing is, Trina was throwing a tantrum weeks ago, acting like a 3-year-old over their separation and divorce. But then they give her dialogue like this and having her stand firm against Portia and holding her accountable. And it's like, yeah. You know what I mean? Like, Trina, I am Trina, yes, ma'am. Some folks, I did see comments where they were like, I wouldn't be talking to my mother like this. But sometimes you need to talk to your parents. You need to talk to them. You need to put a mirror in front of them. Sometimes relationships with parents can be unhealthy from the parents because the parents don't take accountability for what they do. And Portia, her problem is that she don't want to own the fact that, yes, I'm a liar and I need to work on me learning how not to lie as my first course of action. Like she just like, I didn't like how she told Trina, I should have raised you differently or something, so that, people aren't going to live up to your expectations. And I'm like, whoa. Portia, you're the one who set the expectation that you weren't going to lie to Curtis and Trina again like you did before. So Trina is just holding you accountable to what you said you was going to do. Yes, it was a woman-to-woman conversation. I agree. It wasn't a child to mother. It was a woman-to-woman. Yet again, she was blaming Jordan. Jordan had nothing to do with you choosing to lie. Like, oh my gosh. I mean, like, girl, bye. And then she's sitting there saying that, Portia just excuses. Still, technically, Portia didn't lie. She was just keeping her life personal. The only thing that I will say was a lie, even by withholding the truth, was that when Curtis found out she was pregnant, she let him believe that child she was carrying was his. That's where she was wrong. She should have came out again instead of withholding this very big truth that there's a possibility that this child isn't yours because I've been with somebody since we decided to divorce, Because again, all Portia had to tell Trina in this moment wasn't all of what she said. She could have said, you know what? If I cheated, then Curtis cheated. Okay? Because we decided that we were going to get a divorce and that we were only staying married so we wouldn't have to testify against each other in Drew's trial if it ever came down to it. But otherwise, he moved on to Jordan and I decided to get with Dr. Gannon because, I say you are married until your divorce. That's what I've learned personally. But Portia and Curtis, they had a conversation and Curtis was full steam ahead with pursuing Jordan. And I feel like Portia had every right to go ahead and be with Dr. Gannon. That's it. But the only part that she met, yeah, like you said, was just not being straightforward that, you might not be the baby's dad. Because Trina's right. We know Portia. When would you have said something if Alexis hadn't forced you into it? Because now, at first she was saying, oh, I was just waiting until I got out the first trimester to do the paternity test. Now she's in the second trimester and she's still putting it off. And that's, to me, still shows how untrustworthy Portia is. Because there's really no excuse as to why you're not putting that very big question to rest. Really isn't. So I really enjoyed that conversation with them. Portia, again, gaslighted her and then tried to manipulate her by using the baby like, oh, you're not going to not be a good sibling to your little brother or sister. Like, I'm your mom. Like, it's, girl, I'm going to go check on my son. don't know what it is, but I feel like I have super hyper hearing. Like, I don't care what noises is going on, I always hear him. Let me see here. I think the baby will be Curtis so that the Ashford line can continue. I'm confused. When did Trina start calling Taggart by his name and not referring to him as dad anymore? Um, Calling him Taggart was odd. Didn't answer Trina's paternity until Trina was an adult. What did they expect from this baby's paternity? Exactly. That's why Curtis tried to take matters into his own hands, but it don't work that way. I think Portia said to Trina that her mistake was treating Trina as a child and not as an adult, meaning she shouldn't have tried to shelter her. That is true, and I agree with what you just said. Um, that she shouldn't have tried to shelter her, and then also I think she should take it a step further and admit that she uses Trina to justify her actions, especially in the past when she was retelling the story, saying that, oh, I didn't tell Curtis because I didn't think he, want to deal with me under the circumstances with a baby. What you again? There you go. He didn't want to deal with me. You it wasn't about you, it was about the baby, but you're trying to make that excuse as to why you wouldn't let Curtis make a decision for himself. That's still not a good reason for you not to be honest. And then you said, oh, I wanted to give you a good home and I already was with Taggart and everything, so it's like, no, you just wanted to hide from your actions and you're using Trina to do it, and now you're using this baby as well. She's using that baby against Trina because she's sitting there talking about, can you love me anyway? Woman, your daughter loves you anyway. That's why she's so upset and she's so hurt. I cannot stand Portia because she lacks accountability. She's a manipulator and she is indeed a liar. So it'll be very interesting I'm sure we will know the paternity as the audience, but we'll just have to wait because she's stalling. She is stalling on getting that paternity test. And I don't get why, because I really don't believe it has anything to do with stress. She just wants to drag this out because she is quite the drama queen. Don't believe it at all. But Trina tried to protect both her parents and they don't know about that. That is true. They still don't know. I wonder when that's going to come out. And again, if they do end up trying to charge Michael, I just wonder how long are Alexis and Trina and Kai going to withhold that information. Also, there's a promo picture of Chase. It looks like either he has a badge or keys in his hands. Do you think that Chase might be on to something this week? I don't know. But Jocelyn. Okay, no, hold on. We got more to talk about. There was something that somebody mentioned that I wanted to get back onto. Okay, Jason and Britt. We'll go on that. Oh, you did? Jason and Britt. So, are there Jabrit fans in the comments? Are there non-Jabrit fans in the comments? Because it seems as though Jason and Britt has definitely made more progress during this past week. Apparently, Britt decided to charter her own boat to Spoon Island. Lucas, and that's something that I definitely, okay, there we go. Lucas, if Trina or Kai don't fess up, if Michael is charged, Joss will be angry at them. Yeah, no, of course. Curtis is not innocent. I just want to reiterate that. Curtis is not innocent. He has had his fair share of lies. So we definitely, we talked about this. You love Jabrit. You said hell no, no to Jason and Britt. I am not particularly a Jason and Britt fan, but shout out to those who are. Congratulations for your couple. I am not hating. I'm not hating. Still a fan, but their chemistry has fizzled. Understand. Congratulations for your couple. Yeah, Beverly, I'm with you. But I guess Britt decided to charter a boat herself to get out there to Spoon Island. She went overboard. Jason, don't know how, but he found her and he came to her rescue. And so he took her to a cabin. It is suggested, and I'm highly certain that they did have love making going on in those scenes. She just might. I guess now it's in Steve Burton's contract or going forward that he's not doing any more shirtless scenes. Maybe due to him getting married again, or due to him just like, you know what, I've done all of that before. I don't need to keep doing it, so I'm not. So maybe that's just what he's decided. But I think that they definitely had love scenes, just we couldn't see. Just glad he's getting some. Finally, like, how long has it been for you, sir? But Britt finally came forward, shared with him those information. You said off-screen shenanigans are wild. He has a dad bod, probably. Which is surprising because he seems like he works out a lot, from what I remember. Specifically her boat story. Yeah, definitely. And how he got her to a cabin far away enough from Spoon Island to where they both didn't freeze. He is married again. He held back when he was in his first marriage. So let me see. I just glitched. She told him who murdered Henry Dalton, about the medication. Now, what I really need to know is what is Faison's final project? Was it mentioned, like, it's cold fusion, that's it? Like, is there more to it than her just testing with cold fusion? Have they specifically said what Faison's final project is? Because that's the thing that's irritating me now. I'm just like, so what is this final project? Like, what is she doing with, this cold fusion and what have you? But I am sick and tired of Britt being bullied. I am actually. I'm very annoyed. She went back to her room to find that all her medication was gone. So somebody mentioned it. Did anyone see today's episode? I didn't see her scenes with Jason yet. Is he like just coming by and giving her shots instead of giving her any of the medication now? Is that what's happening? So now they can't even try to make a copy of the serum she's getting? Like, I'm gonna have to watch those scenes from today. But of course she went back to the room and it wasn't there. I was wondering if I don't think they know about her and Jason, but I'm guessing that, oh my gosh, these people. I'm really sick. I'm so sick of Cullum. I could hardly stand his scenes with Jocelyn. Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. I don't know how they're going to get out of this one, because I will say that her last scene was with Cullum today was disturbing. I will say that I'm sorry. Sidwell and Cullum, they're formidable foes right now. They really are. Also, Brick did tell Jason and Sonny that it seems like the person who tried to kill him was within the WSB. So does anyone else think Cullum is the one that firebombed Sonny's house? Which is interesting because Marco decided to approach Cullum to talk about him about getting rid of Sonny Corinthos again. Also, we have Lucas and Marco. And that was in the title, the first part of the title of today's live stream. Lucas, for goodness sakes, you have got to have greater instincts than this. And I think he's really trying to figure it out, because he was trying to express it to Ava, but he got interrupted by Sidwell, because he was like, no, it's something more. And Sidwell took away his train of thought by bringing up Carly and how he invited Carly to the house. But yes, but at least Lucas did pick up on the part that, this is the second time that you've mentioned the catacombs. Marco, I think you're an idiot. If the man wants to move off of Spoon Island, then you need to move off of Spoon Island, because it's just, he's not going to be ignorant for long. And it's obvious that Lucas is going to get into a situation where Marco is definitely going to get caught, and then he's going to have a life or death situation involving Lucas. I mean, come on, the writing's on the wall. I'm just like, Lucas, after everything you went through with Brad, I just expect that you would have some better instincts about sniffing out lies and deception. You're just far too loving and trusting. So sweet, but so, what is the word? Naive. You're too old to be this naive. My gosh. And yes, Pascal is creepy. But, so Anna, they moved Anna to Paris, France. Huh? They moved her out there? Marco mentioned in May they can move out, so they might finish it by May. I hope so. I hope the story is wrapped up. Because like this is like Pikeman. Is this like a continuation of the Pikeman story? Some storylines they just go on and on and on. And I'm just like, please, please. Just why can't stories wrap up as quickly as Ronnie's did? I enjoyed Ronnie's story actually, and it was wrapped up within what, 4 or 5 weeks? Come on. Even y'all, even the old Port Charles, the little mini show that came from General Hospital, they would have 7-week arcs and they would switch to a different plot every 7 weeks. I loved that, But so they done messed and scrambled Anna's brain and dropped her off in France. Poor Anna. I am just actually, you think Anna being in France is a lie, a distraction? I mean, I'm only inclined to believe it because the previews show Anna talking to Felicia, and it doesn't look like she's in the catacombs unless Anna is really out of reality and she doesn't even know that she's still in that holding cell. So I'm praying with my fingers and toes crossed that she's actually out of that captivity, because I do not want to continue to watch her be tortured. If we're going back to watching her be tortured, whoa, I'm a throw this at the 10. Like, oh, I don't like those kind of stories. It could be her twin. Ooh, Alex. I pray not. Now all the hope is gone. Jeez. But Jack, how dare you interrupt Carly and Valentine by coming over there for a quickie? I just had to say that. Also, what do we think about Jocelyn? So Jocelyn decided to take it, had to get rid of Anna before Britt came there to work. That is a good point. That is a good point. Because she definitely would have seen Anna in the catacombs. I don't know how much more stress of secrets that Britt can take at this point. But Jocelyn decided to go rogue. She got information from Brick on how to cut the power to Spoon Island. She cut the power. She got on there. Folks was clowning Jocelyn, though. She's put in a psych ward in France, I believe it. Okay. But folks was clowning Jocelyn because she heard a noise and her binoculars give her the wrong filter to show Spoon Island. It's more interesting than her other storylines. But folks was clowning her because she turned the flashlight to the sound and got caught by Cullum. I'm not gonna lie to you, I didn't watch those scenes. I'm just, not because of Jocelyn. I'm really creeped out by Cullum. I'm not even gonna lie to you. He reminds me of Dr. Bench that was harassing Kiki kind of, with his vibe anyway. You don't trust Brick? Gotcha. Watch Joss Find Valentine. Everyone had the same look on their face at the Windermere makeover. Because somebody pointed it out that that's an actual picture of a hotel somewhere. Okay. But I don't know. Jocelyn, be careful. I have a feeling that Cullum is probably very if he doesn't, he's a smart man. He should realize that Jocelyn is probably working for Jack at this point. And why all of a sudden in such a storm would you come out here to the island like this? Cullum gives me creeps. No, she saw Cullum, so she pretended to call for Lucas to see what Cullum would do. I don't like Cullum. I don't like him either. But he is the bad guy, so we're not supposed to like him. We're not supposed to. But I think this week's episodes were really great. If I'm missing something, my apologies, because I really didn't get to take notes like I wanted to. You said Ava had Windermere made over. She got rid of the switch to the catacombs too. She sure did. Dodger should have told Jason already. I really think that she should. But she's trying to be grown, and I don't know why Jack thought he would be able to stop her. You done turned her into a spy, or a spy in training. I'm going to be patient with Jocelyn when it comes to her growing as a WSB agent. She's still new to this. She's not fully true to this. She's trying. And she's gonna, there's some things that's gonna take place that's not cool. Some folks was laughing because she shut her eyes after she, did the big kaboom. But I was like, that's the same thing with me. That's a good point. If I know that a balloon is about to pop, I'm still probably gonna blink my eyes and have a reaction to it. So I don't think it was a big deal that she had a reaction to the thing going boom. What about the book Cullum had with Anna's picture on it? I I don't know. Isn't that one of the books that Faison had written inspired by Anna? But that is all that I have to say about the show this past week, at least all that I was able to remember. I want to say thank you all so much for joining me for tonight's live stream. I plan to be back sometime next week. I said Sunday. I didn't make it Sunday. I actually went to a writing workshop on Sunday and I had a good time. But I do plan to be back within the next week to discuss the continuation of this week's episodes. I hope you all are going to have a great week. Please be safe out there and enjoy life. You fabulous. Always remember that. Have a good night. Bye.